cloud.
Cool.
All right, now you are the full host.
Just give
So
people maybe a minute or two to join in.
yeah, and if it drops, you know why? Because yeah, but it'll still remain for you since you're host. So
Okay.
yeah, you got it. My sincere apologies, guys.
Oh, no worries. Thank you for fixing it.
Oh yeah.
Anything new in the crypto world? Everything's tanking still.
Yeah, it's going good for me, per se, in the crypto space. It's been going good.
There's diamond hands here, so.
Have you been doing any yield farming or anything?
I haven't been doing any of that.
Yeah, I've been looking to dive more into yield farming.
So those of you who are here, my name is Kunal, and this is my first time here. I'm based in New Jersey.
Likewise.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, welcome. Where in New Jersey?
Closer to Bridgewater, New Jersey. So Hillsborough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I'm actually in like South Jersey right now, near like Atlantic City,
Oh, okay.
and was in Manhattan for a while before COVID.
Right, right. I have a lot to learn, so I'm here to learn. I don't have a lot of crypto experience. I've dabbled into some coding and those types of things, but looking to do more of it more full time.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, and we have different things pretty much every day, right, Kenneth? Today is going to be like more coding heavy, I think, but just give me another minute or two.
Sure.
All right, I am tickled pink that there's a Nim Chimpsky here. Hats off to you, sir.
Yes, we have events Sunday through Friday, and Sundays are a great session to come to as well. We'll dive over the crypto news. Then on Mondays, our main coordinator, Anthony, provides a Monday session, and then Tuesday through Friday, we work on development and learning and
Nice.
yeah. So feel free to join in all of them. And you have our meetup page site.
I
Is that
do.
how you found us? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome to come to all the events.
Perfect. No, thank you for that. I will. I intend to be, really dive into it. So.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think this is
yes.
my third or fourth meetup that I've been to with this group, and I really appreciate how active this whole community is, especially since I'm new into Solidity as well.
No, absolutely. I think this is great to have people with the same interests and people more experience. That certainly helps.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for doing these things.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. I think ready to start. Share my screen. Oops. Okay. I can show you guys my, I don't know if you can even see it. I have this like tie-dye splotched shirt that my sister made for me. And then in the back, the TDD, keep calm and TDD bag. Cool. So I just wanted to start and talk about this. It was an interesting challenge problem that Kenneth had posted where you write an array, basically write a function that takes an array and should return the, how did he describe it? The largest possible integer. So you can mix and match them anyway to make the largest possible integer. And just to show you, before we dive into Solidity stuff, I actually started with just writing out a test for it. And this is kind of one test that runs through a bunch of different cases. So this is actually jest. And so in the Solidity, it's a little bit different because we're using Mocha there under the hood, but pretty similar. And so I used his one that he gave me. Sorry, I got a bunch of pop-ups in the way. Right, this is just the example that Kenneth had given this 10, 7, 76, 415 should return this. 1, 2, 3 would make 321, right? And so you're not adding the numbers, you're kind of concatenating them as strings, kind of, but it's interesting, right? Because if you did a string comparison, the 7, 6 would actually be greater than the 7, right? And so it would put the 7, 6 first. So I can show you my implementation for this. And I made two different ways of doing it. One, arrange highest int here is kind of just doing it all as a short as possible one-liner. And then this one is like console.logging each thing along the way and sort of breaking it out. So it starts, we pass in ints, right? This is just JavaScript, so there's no types of anything, but this, we can see from the test, is an array of numbers, what it's expecting. And so it calls this sort. And this is the tricky part, that I'm passing in this custom sort function that it A and B. So this compare function would take A and B, each of the elements. I even left this in here uncomment to kind of see the sorting in action. So then when you run this, it will log comparing each thing. And the compare, for whatever reason, it doesn't return like true, false. You have to return a number greater than 0 or less than 0, like C, or for whatever reason. So and doing this check starts with, right, so if it was just a straight up string comparison, I would say this return, where I'm doing this ternary, if A string is less than B string, return 1, otherwise return -1. And in this other special case where the one starts with the other, right? So the 76 starts with 7. So you actually want to, swap them from just the regular greater than check. And after that, it's pretty much it. You just use join, combine them together into one string, and then the plus is kind of just a shorthand of converting it to an integer. And then you return it. And this, like I was saying, you can see the comparison going through each thing and comparing them. There's the 76 to everything, then for 15, just kind of walks down the array. Cool. Anybody have questions on this, or I could post this into the, oh, I did post this into the Slack, so it's here. Maybe I'll just post it again. And, okay, so for today, man, it's hot here today. It's summertime. Okay, so I have this repository here, TDD attendees. And this is the example project that I'm not sure why this is the image for this, but okay. And there's nothing in it really right now, just the README. But I'm gonna go through it with you guys and talk about these different things here. So I like to just use regular terminal and have it nice, look nice. Not sure where it went there. Okay. So I'm just gonna go back to my home and get projects. I like to clone things. Okay, and then we can do, I like to use NVM. So we'll go just 14, I think is what we've been using in the other sessions.
Hey, Jim.
And
sorry to
check
interrupt.
if we have,
Where did you post that link? I couldn't see the channel.
I think I posted it in development.
Which Slack?
Oh, sorry, this is crypto devs. I'm gonna post it in ETH builders too.
Ah, cool. Thanks.
Guess just general.
Sure, you could create a development if you want.
So this is the REPL.it, and yeah, this is our TDD Solidity GitHub group that we've just been working out of too.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay, so looks like we have Solidity truffle. It has a bunch of commands here, so that's good. And the one that we want to do is init. Okay, sweet. So we have this. Yeah, for some reason, this computer, I haven't fixed that yet. Every time I open it, it wants me to like reinstall this, but it's okay. So this was last time we were doing the voting. So I'm gonna install this in my path. Okay. And if we look at this, so this is kind of what we were wanted to build. So we want to manage some attendees for an event. And a non-admin user can say, hey, I'm attending. They can get their own status. And when they're attending, they can submit their name, just their name to be displayed, and also t-shirt size. And I was thinking just to like practice enums, we could do this where there's some options: small, medium, large, extra large, and double extra large. And if they don't give a t-shirt size, use large as default. And admin users, I put this with parentheses around it because we could probably just use like the default, the easy, the first user in our test is the owner. Just use the contract owner, but you could also get fancier and have multiple admins or things like that. But so the admin users, they can query for all the attendees, query for banned addresses, ban a user, and ask if any specific address was banned or not. Okay. Okay. And let me actually open up that older project because there's some things. There's some things we might want in here. So we were using this nodemon or nodemon to have like a watch mode. So I'm just gonna run npm init real quick here so that we can have a package JSON. Oh, that's fine, I guess. And go on, install these things. -D, I think. This nodemon. Truffle assertions is pretty good too, because that's how we can assert that things are reverting, right? When we call admin only functions with the non-admin user. So I'll just install this now. So oops. Okay. Decode that, I should, yeah, be able to open up both of these. Okay. So don't really have any migrations. A cool thing that I think Amal told me maybe is that you can do truffle create all, and now we'll create the migration and the contract and the test, which is pretty cool. So let's call this maybe attendees. So that will be like the name of our smart contract here. Okay. And so we do have in our, right, they kind of give us this restricted and owner. I mean, they're using this in this migrations contracts, but really we're going to want to do basically the exact same thing here for our owner only things. So kind of cheating a little bit, but I think that's okay. Cheating because we don't have really our tests yet. So this we need to do also. By the way, Amal, I was thinking this could be like fill out more for you than just this, right? Because I pretty much every time just do this, highlight all three and change it to the name of.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And okay, so this is pretty much what we want here. And they're telling us that we can have we have these accounts that we can use. And another nice thing that we were doing last time is saying like owner, the first one is owner, and this could be 10D1, 10D2. Okay. It should assert true. Yeah. I would even say it should. I mean, it doesn't matter a whole lot. Deploy the contract, but yeah, this is just the first test just to make sure things compile and are able to be migrated. And what did we call it again? Okay, so I didn't grab this yet. In our package JSON, we've made this script test watch. So it calls nodemon, looks at these two extensions, JavaScript and Solidity. And then when we have a change anywhere, it runs truffle test. Okay. Okay. So, I mean, it's always, I'm kind of debating whether I should like do everything again from scratch, but there's always new people, you know, and it's good to see just like how to set things up. But if we run npm run test watch here, missing script. Did I spell this wrong? Don't think so. Oh, I put this in directories, not scripts. Okay. Sorry, test. Echoing error is not really that helpful, so I'll just say run truffle test when you do regular tests. Okay, compiled everything and we have our contract. Cool. So going back to just like the README here. We can start a couple places. I guess declaring their attendance. Okay, so let's open the test down here. Say user can declare attendance. Okay. And we can go through, some people like to do this AAA thing, right? Where you say arrange, then act, then assert. So our arrange here is pretty much just getting a handle on our contract that we can call functions on. And what did we call this last time? Like contract or subject, like the subject that you're testing. And because we have a wait here, we're gonna need to do async function. This like bubx pop-up is always in the way. Okay. And now we're going to want to basically call our declare attendance. Okay, and remember in the third bullet point, we got kind of fancy where it passed a whole bunch of things here. But for now, let's just say pass it, declare your attendance and you don't pass anything. Okay. And then if we, this, right, so if you don't say from anyone, it will just by default call it with the owner. And it's doesn't really make a lot of sense in our business logic situation here. So let's call this with attendee one. And we can do that by saying here from attendee one. Okay. And notice, right, our contracts should be rerunning each time I save this, but it's just always passing because we're not asserting anything. So if I say, maybe I can call this registered attendees. Oh, yeah, I guess now it's failing because this isn't a function. So, guess we could just create this function. And we probably don't even really need this constructor. So we wanted to call this function declare attendance. And doesn't take anything right now. It'll be public so that it can be called from our test, just from the outside world in general, right? And it doesn't really return anything. So I guess that's enough. But then we can say, right, like registered attendees. Declare attendance is not a function. Did I not save this one? And I remember last time there was something that we had done, right? Like it wasn't working and there was something really simple that I was doing wrong. So in this voting test, set up before each, we're saying subject equals, we're saying dot new here, but okay. And that's another thing, right, is that we are kind of going to need to do this in every test. So I could set up that before each. Okay, say let subject so that I can reassign it every time in here. Okay, but this still doesn't really explain why it can't find this function.
I think you wanted it to be new, Jim. You copied deployed.
Okay, here new, or I guess this one doesn't even matter a whole lot since we're doing it here. But if I say dot new, oh, so maybe Hmm.
It's a typo. You have
Is it
attendee
just a
with an
typo?
A and yeah.
Oh,
no.
yeah. Thank you. Okay, cool, thanks. So let's keep going with this. And now we want to assert basically. So first, I guess I need to get the, I'll say like actual attendees. And here, I was even had that as part of our things that we wanted to expose anyways, just the list of attendees, although might be, depending on how many attendees you have, you might not want to return the entire list or may not even want to save it on the blockchain, but that's like a different discussion, right? So I was going to say get all attendees. And then, okay, so now let's expect something. Expect that the actual attendees to equal sorry, been using like so many similar matchers, but let's just see, what were we doing? Something with equality, yeah, just two equal. And do I need to import anything for that expect? Not really. Nope. Okay, so let's expect this. To equal an array with just that one attendee one address. Okay, yep, that's not a function either, that's true. So just gonna copy and paste it so that I can't misspell it. And now this should fail because we're not doing the right thing here. And we at least need to say that it returns an array. And just calling this, I guess, an address array. And it'll probably want me to say either memory or, okay, so let's say memory. And so let's create this string array just here, right? This will be saved into the blockchain, just a variable on the contract itself. And going to call this, I guess, attendees. Set that equal to yes, this one. Just give me a sec. Okay. I think, is it that you don't need to initialize it at all? I think we can just start pushing things into this.
Do you have to add a public in front of the attendees, or is that optional?
Sorry, didn't hear
You
you
know
there.
how you have public in front of the owner? You have to declare public or private in front of attendees?
For attendees, okay. I guess, I mean, I guess we could make it private just because I have this function here. Where I
So
can
do you
then
want that to be a
return,
string or an address?
yeah. Good point, this should probably be an address. Okay. And what does not like about this? Okay, so they're just telling us I can add view here. We're not mutating anything. So we're getting those attendees, but we're still not putting anything into that array.
I have a question. Is it better
Mhm.
to have the attendees as a mapping of the addresses instead, and then just have a count of all the attendees?
Yeah, well, it depends, right? And I think kind of where we're going with it, I was gonna have both. But yeah, that's a good point, especially if you want to look up things by the address. It'd probably be better to have a mapping, right? But Solidity doesn't really like returning a mapping, and for this one, right, like the consumer just wants an array of addresses. So I guess we could just store that. But especially when we get to the other data, that could be useful. So
I was
good
going to
idea.
say that the
Mhm.
consideration would be if you need to access and use the individual addresses for some sort of logic later, it makes sense to use a mapping because that'll save you in opcode and ETH for the transaction fee. And
Mhm.
you're right about the address. So it depends on what you want to do. You have the choice to minimize cost
Mhm.
and manage usability.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. And so let's just finish this one just to get the test passing. So does anybody know adding something into an array, the method for that in Solidity?
Push.
Push. I think push should be a thing. I guess my editor is just not. And so what do we want to push here? We're not sending anything because we don't want the user to be able to say, hey, I'm someone else. So we can just hook into our good old message.sender. And that should be the address here. So we expected, okay, I think this is like a promise and things emit on. So I think the problem is I need to await. And probably need to await this too. Okay, actually that seemed to be okay. Can't really see into this, so maybe we could just log these.
Yeah, I think
And
you
I
may want
may just shouldn't be Well,
I think the arrays are going to be different. You want to do deep equal because of JavaScript.
oh, deep equal, you said?
I think so.
Yeah. See if they at least have the same string. Looks like it, unless one is not a string. But let's try that. Dot deep, dot equal.
Oh, that's right. One is an address and one is a string. That is a good point. Yep.
But how does this come out in JavaScript world? Is this like a number? Okay, so that one looks like it worked, the deep equal. And just to maybe like make sure it's not just always passing, let's just add something to this, and this should fail because the one has an extra 2.
I
Mm-hmm.
think that's because you're
So
adding
I didn't
labels.
add it into this log here, but yeah, that's what's happening down here. Okay. Although I think I'm actually adding this to the array,
Yeah.
so that doesn't really make sense. But if I did it over here, I think I should get a better error. But while that's going, let's think about, and even this, right? How you guys were saying, to have a mapping, like maybe we can have them declare attendance. They send in their name and t-shirt size, and then we can save that into a mapping with the address as the key. Just as a way of storing those things. Okay, yeah, so this is what I was expecting, the same kind of string, and this one has extra, okay. So let's get rid of these things. I like a lot of empty spaces. As long as it's just one space, but cool. Okay, so I feel like we're gonna want to do a lot of the same things here. So I'm just gonna copy this and say that sorry, what did we want here? Okay, the user, yeah, and actually this, let me just X this for now because we can just work still in this test. Where I'll pass in, and I like to even just say like mock name, and this one, so in Solidity, if we make an enum here, and I think the way that I was doing it, had seen other people do it, was where you just put brackets and you just say your things. So like small, medium, large. And it's like a nice succinct way to write it. And basically they get mapped to integers. Kind of similar to TypeScript enums. And actually I don't need equals here. Okay. Just gonna close this because we're pretty much just working in these two files. Okay, so now say, and so here, let's make that same enum. Although, wait, enum is a TypeScript thing, right? I don't think we have enums in JavaScript. So let's just say Okay, medium t-shirt size should be 1, right? Because I think it's 0 based. And so let's pass these things into the function. So I'm going to declare I'm attendance, I'm here. My name is Bob, and I would like a medium shirt, please. Okay. And then I think the get, so now you kind of have a choice. Do you want get all attendees to return just the addresses, or the addresses in the information? And I'm kind of looking ahead for later, so I'm going to say get all attendees will just return the addresses, and maybe we can have user can get their own info, right? The info that they submitted. And this will be pretty much the same. And so what I'm going to do is just move these out up here so that I can use them anywhere in this contract test. And this, I'm just going to duplicate, move down here. So you can call this and then something like get my info. Okay, then we can expect this info to be basically an object of these things, and we can decide how do we want this object to be. So I'm thinking maybe in Solidity we can call this a struct, and what do you think? We could call this Tony. No, let's just call it attendee info. Okay, and call this display name. This can be a string, and then so t-shirt size. Sorry, what am I doing? Right, things in all the wrong order. All these crazy colons. And actually, I think just to make it easy, let's just say uint. And this might even be the right thing to do. I'm not sure. You probably want to be more specific about this, but just because we're trying to go fast here. And so now declare attendance. It's saying invalid number of parameters. Makes sense. So this is a string. Call this display name or anything. And the shirt size. Okay, this was, I think we're just saying, expecting a uint here. And this, let me say memory. Yep. Okay, so now it's like, why are you giving me these variables and not doing anything with them? So let's add these into, okay, so we don't have the mapping. So here, we're gonna have a mapping where the address is the key, and this we can pull out our attendee info. Okay. And I'm trying to think of an interesting name for this, but I'm just thinking attendee to info. So this is the map of attendee to info, like just regular camel case. Also, by the way, a lot of people will not write in camel case, but I'm just have been doing TypeScript all day, so yeah, as long as it's consistent with your project and other people like it, I don't think it matters a whole lot, but you might not see, I mean, I don't know. Do you, Amal, or anyone else? Is there like, I know in Rust, like the compiler will not even let you do things in camel case, so it's at least not that strict in the Solidity world, right?
How they typically type it out.
With like underscores, like in Rust, you have to do this, what they call it, snake case, or for your function names and things. But it's actually like arguably easier to read, so I don't know.
I am so used to camel case that it would be weird for me to do that.
Yeah. And it still works in camel case, you know, so it doesn't matter a whole lot. So this declare attendance, got 1, expected 2. So did I forget to update something? So we're expecting 2 because we changed this. Oh, maybe I just didn't save this here. Just make this a little more room. Okay, so looks like these 2 passed, so that's still working, that's good. And this one is just saying we didn't write the function yet. So let's do that. Get my info, we don't even really need to. I'm still gonna say from user 1 because we kind of wanted the owner to call a sort of different function where they like specifically pass in the address they want. And because it's the owner, it's not really a security problem. Okay, right, so I still didn't finish this. Public. This will also be a view, and we can return some attendee info. Returns with an S, right? And not found or not unique. Okay, yeah, just another typo. And does it? Yeah, it does want memory here. Okay, so kind of a weird error to get, but I think if you just copy this and put it in your file, it will be happy. Okay, so we're back to something that looks like a good function signature. We're just not using this stuff. So attendee to info was the name of the map. And then square brackets, right, to tell it that you want to do something at this key. We already have message.sender there. So we're going to use that again to be the key. And it's sort of to make a new, like I'm just thinking object literals like JavaScript world, but I think you actually want to use the name here and then brackets. New? It's not new, right? And so what do we have on this? Display name and the t-shirt size, and those are, right, and I think you have the same kind of shorthand thing as JavaScript, where if I want to say the key is the same as the name of the variable, then you don't have to put both of them. And the shirt size. And I called it t-shirt size here. So the key was t-shirt size and the parameter. We can change, refactor this, but let's try to get it something passing. I have just a thing here. It keeps going to sleep though. Oh, yeah, I was doing, okay. Yeah. So it's kind of a weird syntax, but it's actually pretty nice. So I can say attendee info message sender equals. And then the name of the struct. Put a space here. Parentheses. And it basically knows the order, right? In JavaScript, you can't really guarantee the order of anything in an object, but here we can pass in display name first and then t-shirt size. So this is just our arguments here that we're getting. And that will just replace all these 4 lines. Cool. Okay, so now our tests are going to run again. Interesting. So, oh, get my info. Interesting that this even returned something. Oh, I guess it returned just an empty object. Okay. So we really, all we need to do here is look up, use this. Okay, we're not passing it in, but we have message.sender, remember? So message.sender, and we want to look it up in our mapping. And sorry, square brackets, gonna pull out the info at this message.sender with this address as the key, sorry. Okay, save that. Also, I'm expecting it to be just this empty object, which is weird, right? Just gonna add some spaces and stuff. And what we really should be expecting here is an object with these keys and should be able to see that in the test. Okay, so this is the, yeah, sorry, this is the thing that's being returned. Maybe if I log this, it'll be come out a little bit nicer. Even you can do JSON.stringify sometimes if that's still not really working. Okay, and so you can see here, this is what came back. Which is interesting. The Bob, I mean, it's the right data, sort of, right? It is Bob, his name, and his t-shirt size converted to a string, which is a little bit weird, but that could also just be the log, the way that it's logged. So let's say sorry. Okay. I guess let's just make it this, right? It's not a huge deal if if that's the format that it comes back, as long as it's the right data. And it's interesting that this has so many more properties. And we're saying deep equal to, okay. I'm just gonna try the literal. We probably should use our variables up here, but let's just see if this works. Okay. So we are getting the data. Let's say mock name. And our medium t-shirt. This one, I think we'll probably need to stringify it. But let's just see it fail here. Yeah, so it wants it to be a string. So should have the dot or dot to string. Yeah. And we might not even need this deep. Need the equal, might not need the deep. Let's try it without deep. Okay. Interesting. We have this still the same data, but it doesn't pass the test. So I guess we do need deep here. And assuming that's going to pass again, we can clean up these consoles. Sorry, I keep resetting it. Okay, back to green. So maybe let's try to do some refactoring here. And actually we didn't need to use those. Object key is the same as the thing because we're using this already pretty succinct syntax. So that's good. Have variables and things. Okay. So I know we only have kind of a couple minutes. Save some time. Does anyone have like questions or things? Was it totally confusing or something? Suggestions for next time? Anything is free to share, talk about.
Hey,
But just
Jim,
if, yep. Mhm.
sorry, this is Kunal. Again, this is my first time here, right? So I'm just trying to get a handle on, if you had previous sessions similar to this, is there a place where I can find it? Recording.
We did have record sessions, a few other sessions. Let's say talk to Kenneth. I'm not sure if they are up yet or published, but I think we can definitely
Okay,
get those out sometime soon. Send you the links to them.
appreciate that.
Yeah, not sure if he's here. I know he's having internet problems, but
We'll
definitely.
be
Oh yeah.
posting them. We'll be posting them up onto YouTube. So that'll be the location to be able to review the videos we've had in the past.
Okay. Okay,
Mhm.
perfect.
Yeah. And so we've pretty much just been doing these attendee functions here. Something for just to think about is some of these admin functions. So this querying for all attendees, that's going to be probably really heavy, you know, especially because this is just an unbounded array. It can get as big as the blockchain can handle, really. And but in theory, you could make a function that just returns this entire array, and we could cross this off the list, right? If that's what they really want us to build. And a similar thing for band addresses, right? We could have a function instead of pushing it into an attendees array and attendee to info map. We could have where you push a band, you push, I guess the admin would send as a argument the address that it wants to ban. And then we can push that into its own array, push it into a map, possibly for faster lookup. And so the idea here is that if the user is in that band array or map or whatever, then when they try to call declare attendance, we'd have maybe a require, you know, and we could even just leave it to do here for ourselves later, right? Require that the caller address was not banned, you know, and you can imagine having like a modifier here that was something like not banned. And then just a function, right, that was this address band, where we yeah, basically look up, are they in that band mapping, band usage mapping? And if they are, return true, otherwise return false. Right? And yeah, so that's pretty much it for today's session. I did have some bonus challenges, okay? And this, anyone who actually solves this first person, post it in Slack. I'll send you 0.014 Ether, okay? It's like 25 bucks maybe in Ether, and bragging rights, right? Put it on your resume that you solved the challenge and got some Ether and stuff, right? But it's not gonna be easy, okay? So the ultimate goal is to build this into some kind of cool airdrop type thing where you have attendees register and it will randomly choose one of them for like a special prize or something. And everyone will tell you when you first start coding Solidity, don't use a blockchain to generate random numbers. So as a hint here, use an Oracle, or I think it's called like provably random function, something from Chainlink, to do this. And yeah, the only rules are that it has to work and it has to have some unit tests. And if you post it by next session or maybe 2 weeks, then you win the prize, okay? And there's even a bonus number 2. So bonus number 2 is actually give the attendees something. And that's the first person to do it, they can will get 0.014 Ether also as a prize. And keep in mind, this will probably worth like 5 to 10 times as much a year from now, you know? This isn't financial advice, by the way, right? But so the idea is how to do some type of airdrop type thing where you either give them ERC 20 tokens or 721 or ERC, whatever you want, just to somehow allow all of the attendees to get the thing into their wallet. And another hint for that, either use or build something like Open Zeppelin's split payment, which is basically a function that takes an array of addresses and calls out, and it uses kind of the pull payment. I haven't actually used it myself, but just reading about it, that it uses like the pull payment. So split payment will build some kind of structure that says these addresses can pull this much of our ERC20 token, or maybe one of our NFT thing, you know, the Pope. And then the user can come in. I guess you'd probably need to make a function for our non-admin users to actually claim that. But yeah, good luck with it. And I'll push all this. I'll push all this up so that you can start from here. And remember, this is public on our TDD Solidity GitHub. So come in and we can add you as a member, open pull requests or issues or whatever. And yeah.
Will the bonuses be listed on there as well in the GitHub?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Will the bonuses, like description of the bonuses that you just showed, will they be on the GitHub?
I don't think they're here, but I can add them. That's a good idea. And yeah, so I can add this in here. Guys have any questions about the bonuses? Anyone feeling really good about it? They just did this yesterday. Well, yeah, I mean, if you build it, then you could honestly deploy it and it would be a pretty cool thing. And even, you know, just zooming out, thinking about it in the meta, really all you need to do is somehow call to Open Zeppelin split payment and do the actual blockchain related things. You know, it's awesome coding in Solidity, but you could have possibly written all this logic in Python or JavaScript Node or whatever. So just something to think about. Okay, so that's bonus one. And what did I say the rules were? Has to have unit tests. Okay, they don't even have to be good unit tests or 100% code coverage, as long as you have some checking that your functions are doing things and behaving properly. Although I guess, yeah, they have to be good if they're actually doing that. To solve each one, and I'll say post in with builders. I see general or development channel. Let me just make sure. Do we have? Yeah, I think that was the other one. So let's say. I guess general is fine. Solve each. So it's not totally clear, but there's two separate prizes, okay? And I'll say the posted on or before the, I guess the 9th. Okay. And I'm part of this competition too, so you're racing against me. Yeah, should be fun. And I'll push this one. Okay. Take a look at it, just make sure it's there. I thought I had, yeah, this one. Yep. And our beautiful attendees contract. Yep. Well, thanks everybody for coming. I think, yeah, I think that's it for today.
Yeah, you did. Did you answer the question about could I ask very basic questions that
Mhm.
was posted in the Zoom chat?
Oh, sorry, I haven't been looking at the chat. How are you getting your code to, oh, that was you, or that was you asking for someone else, kind of?
Correct.
That was me.
Yep, okay, so the question was, how are you getting the code to compile recurring, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
not in the
So if
swing of
you
things.
run, yep. If you run the truffle test, right, that's just a one-time run
Oh,
of your
okay.
test. And other things, you have like dash watch or something. And so truffle, I don't think right now doesn't have that. And so the way that I've been doing it is to use this, I pronounce it NodeMon. It's like Pokemon, but for Node. But it's actually really like no daemon, like a daemon in the background, kind of just running or watching stuff. And so the script that I was running there the whole time, that was test watch. And so I have this package JSON file that I created just right after I scaffolded all this out. And I was running this and
I see.
test watch, yeah. And so it does
Okay.
this command, which basically watches all these extensions, JavaScript and Solidity, and then executes this command, which is our truffle test.
Okay, got it. That's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Yeah, and you also need to install it, don't forget. So dev dependencies, we have this NodeMon.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm. And cool. Any other questions? Yeah, just posting links and stuff. But yeah, I think, I
Thank you
don't
for
know,
the
is
session.
it still recording or stop the kind of?
Yeah, could you stop it?
Yeah, so I can stop sharing. Not sure if I can stop the recording. Ah, here it is. All right, see you, viewers.